Welcome guys. In this series of videos, I will explain you about VB scripting and how to use it to automate many tasks in Windows. Before that, we need to discuss about a core component of Windows which is used for scripting. Windows scripting host is that one. WSH for short. It has been part of Windows since Windows NT version 4. It's installed by default with Windows. Like other components, Windows scripting host can be uninstalled. It can also be upgraded through downloads or by installing service packs. To check whether it is installed in your system, open command prompt and type cscript. If it is able to produce the below output, then it exists. WSH consists of core object model, scripting host, and scripting engines. Scripting hosts. These are the ones used to execute scripts. Along with the scripting hosts, WSH contains core object model and scripting engines. Core object model. It provides the key functionality necessary for scripts to interact with the operating system. Scripting engines, these are language specific. They provide the core functions, objects, and methods for a particular language. Like suppose for VBScript we have a separate scripting engine and JScript we have another scripting engine. These are all installed by default on Windows. What is ActiveX control? These are generally seen in Internet Explorer and they are not permitted just only for Internet Explorer. It is used for extending functionality of OS or any application. WSH ActiveX control is an ActiveX control that provides the core object model for the scripting host. Several file extensions are mapped for use with the scripting host. The file extensions are .js, this for JScript, and .vbs is for VB scripting, and .ws is a Windows script file in which we can write both JScript and VBScript. WSH is a properties file for Windows script file. A limitation of .js and .vbs files is that they can contain only JScript or VBScript statements respectively, and you cannot mix and match. These where .wsf files come into the picture, or what I call batch scripts. These batch scripts can combine multiple types of scripts and can also include libraries containing constants. This is an example of batch script. Batch scripts contain markup tags that identify the elements within them, such as individual jobs and the scripting language being used. These markup tags are defined as XML elements, extensible markup language elements. XML is structured much like HTML and uses plain text characters. You can use any text editor to create batch scripts. And because batch scripts contains XML, you can also use an XML editor. Windows scripts can also use WSH files. These files contain default settings for scripts such as timeout values and script paths. Because of the introduction of WSF files and direct in-script support, for most script properties, WSH files are rarely needed. In WSF files, you can embed a VBS file or JS file as a path, or you can directly write them in the blocks like this. To execute any of the Windows scripts mentioned above, you will use one of the two scripting hosts available, WScript and CScript. WScript has GUI controls for displaying output in pop-up dialog boxes and is used primarily when you execute scripts from the desktop. CScript is the command line executable for the scripting host that is used when you execute scripts from the command line. Although you can work with both of these in much the same way, there are some features specific to each. To run scripts with CScript from the command line, enter CScript followed by the path of the script you want to execute. Similarly, if you want to run any script through WScript, type WScript followed by the path of the script file. By default, all the script files are associated to WScript.exe only, the Microsoft Windows based scripting host. This will point to WScript.exe. If you run the script file, it will run WScript.exe and passing this VBS as parameter to this. Each object has properties and methods that are used to perform certain types of tasks. Properties are attributes of an object that you can access. Methods are procedures that you will use to perform operations. As with other object-based programming languages, you can work with objects in a variety of ways. You can use built-in objects, create new objects based on the built-in objects, or define your own objects using unique methods and properties. In WSH, objects are simply named containers that you'll use to interact with the operating system components. Like mentioned earlier, Windows scripting hosts contain core object model, scripting hosts, and scripting engine. The Windows scripting host object hierarchy can be broken down into two broad categories: exposed objects and non-exposed objects. Exposed objects such as VBScript are the ones you will work with in your scripts. Non-exposed objects such as WSH collection are accessed through the methods or properties of other objects. We can't access them directly. This WScript object is root object for all other exposed objects in the Windows scripting host. This is nowhere related to the scripting engine wscript.exe discussed before. Only the names are same. These non-exposed objects do the behind the scenes work. As we mentioned before, there are different scripting engines for each scripting language in Windows scripting host. For example, JScript scripting engine, the letter case for object, method, and property names is different. The JScript engine doesn't recognize an object unless you reference it correctly. The WScript object, if you are accessing it through JScript engine, it doesn't recognize WScript because it is case sensitive. We should write it as S capital. But scripting engine of VBScript doesn't care about letter case. Either small s or capital S works fine. Scripting engines provide the core language functionality for Windows scripts and are packaged separately from Windows script host itself. You can obtain scripting engines for JScript, VBScript, Perl, TCL, Python, and more. The official Microsoft scripting engines for VBScript and JScript are standard components on Windows. The scripting engines support core language and language runtime environments. The core language includes operators, statements, built-in objects, and built-in functions. Operators are used to perform arithmetic comparisons and more. Statements are used to make assignments to conditionally execute code, like if, else, and all, and to the control flow within a script. For example, you can use for looping to execute a section of code for a specific count. These types of statements are defined in the core language. Beyond this, the core language also defines functions and objects that perform common operations such as evaluating expressions, manipulating strings, and managing data. The runtime environment adds objects to the core object model. These objects are used to work with the operating system and are also available with Windows scripting. Thank you guys. In the next session we will discuss about VB scripting and its basic concepts.